As many of you know, Realm is in a bit of a rut right now. I still really enjoy the game personally, but there are a lot of people out there who don't. With the removal of classes and the looting system being completely reworked, the game's been left in a fractured state, and the community isn't really sure what's going on, where the game's going, and everyone's just kind of wondering about the future. The new looting system introduced a way for you to always use the gear that was dropped on the ground. However, this has come at the expense of adding in a large amount of RNG and the removal of classes, which, as I said, some people aren't too happy about. The idea behind this was presumably to avoid the disappointment that comes with killing a fully geared player of a different class, only then to be forced to disenchant the gear. Being able to disenchant the gear did allow you to then go on and forge legendary gear of your own, but at the same time, not everybody is able to forge, not everybody might know how to forge, and not everybody might want to forge. That's the thing. Like, if you kill someone, and in any other BR, you're able to then pick up their gear, use it as you desire, with the exception of putting like weapon attachments that aren't compatible with your gun on. But the base thing is you can pick up that gear regardless. In Realm Royale, you can't. In Realm Royale, you had to have the same class or disenchant it. It either forced you to pick a class that everybody was using just so you'd have a high loot density, or you'd have to go off and then forge. Perhaps there might not be any forges in the circle. Perhaps you think going to a forge is too risky and you don't want to go and forge. So having to disenchant the gear and not being able to pick up that legendary gear did have its downsides. With that said, I'd like to show you an idea that was presented to me while I was discussing the future of Realm with my friend Sam. This idea generally aims to bring back classes in a broad sense, while also keeping the looting system of the new game and the new style. This idea comes in the form of adding essentially loot decks to the game. These decks will be a set of abilities and a form of class weapon that will dictate what drops out of chests and what you can forge. The decks will be formatted like this. You'll start out with a default deck that everybody uses, and you have 3 extra slots that you can customize and essentially work back in your classes that you liked, and maybe even create new classes, customize the bits that you didn't like about a certain class, that kind of thing. You'll be able to select 4 abilities, 2 movement abilities, and 1 class weapon. These will be the items that drop from chests as you're looting, and there'll be an option at the forge to be able to forge specifically a bit of gear from your deck. So take this for example. Say we want to emulate the old hunter class. What you can do is you can pick flare, mine, and then with the removal of blast shot and the changing of withdraw over to a movement ability, you then have room to pick up 2 other abilities, say sensor drone and smokescreen, to really kind of enable the stealthy, laid back, I'm gonna hunt you with my bow kind of playstyle. And then for your movement ability you pick the withdraw dodge roll combo, and then for your class weapon you choose the longbow, of course, it's the hunter. Once you load into the game and you're on the starter island, you'd select a deck just like you would have selected a class in the old patch, and then when you've dropped into the map you'd essentially open chests and loot like you did in the old patch as well. You'd drop abilities out of chests that you have according to your deck, and then the weapon drops, rune drops and potion drops would remain the same. I think they're general enough that they're not specific to a certain class and they can apply to all the classes. Forges would then give you the ability to either forge a completely random piece of gear at a lower cost. So say you don't have enough shards for a proper piece of gear that from your deck, you'll be able to just get a random piece. If you don't want to pay the price of lowered RNG, then you can do that. But you also have the option to forge a loadout piece for a higher cost. So you'd essentially be able to have both a completely random bit for a lower cost, but for a high cost and lower RNG, you can have your specific loadout piece. Now, using an in-game fight as an example to kind of demonstrate the system in action, say you've just won a fight against someone who's got all legendary abilities and legendary class weapons, all that jazz. Now, you have the option to just disenchant their gear if you want it, and then go and forge your legendary gear. But say you don't have enough time left and there's no forge around, stuff like that, that means you can't actually forge. You then have the ability to get that kind of instant reward for winning a fight, picking up their gear still and being able to run around with it. Like, the system doesn't limit your ability to pick up gear, it only limits your ability to loot stuff out of chests, essentially. With this system, I think you'd be able to keep the appeal of the old class-based system, while also maintaining the direction that the development team is looking to go with all the loot RNG. So it's kind of a hybrid system. To me, it takes all the good things from the old system and the new system, creating a completely wonderful compromise. However, as with everything, not everyone sees eye to eye, so let me know down in the comments about what you think of this system. Shoutouts again to Sam for showing me the idea. Check out his Twitter at vexedsam_BC. Links will be in the description. Thanks again for watching. My name is Swindy, and I will catch you all later.